Hi everyone. So since my last reading on Bryan Kohberger, I did want to do further readings. Some of it's going to be psychic downloads, some of it's going to be the views that I'm going to share that are mixed with psychic downloads, and some of it's going to be, maybe true crime kind of coverage. And if you enjoy that, then you need to let me know. One thing I do want to say before I turn the cards onto the camera is once again, please let me know if you prefer the shorter readings or the longer readings. And one thing that I think really needs to happen, which I find are lacking in the true crime community and also psychiatrists that get caught up in this, is there's a definitely, and even lawyers, a lack of investigation on is that instead of and lawyers as well, so instead of just regurgitating news, which is nice because I mean it's all about how the person delivers it, and that's why you're probably following the person, is it's time, the motivation is really examined and not speculation around motivation. And I think this is going to be a big one where they really need to get a hold of that. In the justice system or lawyers, it's kind of like, and we know that it's not always a fair justice system, what justice stands for, but more than just convicting someone, putting them in jail, how are we gonna stop missing signs and catch the triggers? And when there is a trigger that is identified, then how long does it take after that trigger for someone to turn in an SK or lesser crimes? We might find that the weeks leading up to it, in certain crimes it differs, and there's a pattern there. Putting the patterns together slowly, pieces of the puzzle fall into place. There's a massive lacking in terms of understanding motivation and possibly catching things at a certain period of time, if that makes sense. And I think over a period of time, it can actually advance us in understanding more around this and actually possibly saving either a person in such situation or others that could be at harm. So I definitely think there's going to be a lot more on this case coming out. And I do think that the prosecution has a lot. I see a lot. So, yes, psychics can be made fun of. But I think it's important that, maybe add benefit if it's a true crime podcast, a lawyer, a psychiatrist, to try and look at the motivation, not just regurgitate motivations that, was bullied at school or rejected. What else including that? For example, here, I think the signs where, he might have done stuff like, I see him stalking and following possibly a student at his university. And I do think that this was something, it wasn't kept a secret. But I don't know if that student is a bit strange or was not trusted or something like that. It feels like there might have been maybe even an anonymous, even in some offices they have an anonymous box where you can raise your concerns, but his name was on that. This girl was not comfortable and felt he was following her. Could that have been already him triggered and he was ready to do something? Possibly, but I want to mention something. His plan was not to be a mass murder. And I say that because a mass murder is someone who does more than one at a certain time. Although he's getting labelled an SK, that's my understanding, and I could be wrong. He got in that house and it all went wrong. It didn't go as he had planned. I actually see him it's kind of like the lights go out and he thinks they're asleep and they're not. And also he was in wherever they were. I haven't got this off a crime, so I believe it's what I've seen. There were at least 2 other places that he was there. And so to me, I'm really confused on why there's no surveillance cameras at either a party or a club. And there was something at the university hall. I don't know if it was a club or there's a party next door or nearby or after gathering. And he was there as well. So how comes in these places there's no surveillance of him being there and these girls being there? Is that going to come out? Because that is something that is definitely there. So it's maybe it's going to be released now. There's no after his sentencing, because to me this was not decade or decades ago, and that would not make sense to me that they cannot show a recording, because he was there at least at 2 places. And I believe, you know, if obviously if I didn't know if this is BK, I don't know if I would get this, but I believe that certain people that might tap into it might have profiled him as a hunter because of the energy. Now, his plea does not mean that he is actually guilty, and it could be just to get him off. I've mentioned this in my reading, and there's no crap, I forgot what I was saying. Oh shoot, I hate it when that happens. Help me out. Yeah, sorry. So I've done readings like the Global Psychic Predictions or question readings where I've been asked about him. There's a lot that's going to be spewed out. And I think if the defense knew who to pinpoint as alternates, which I mentioned in my reading, he could have got off. And one of the things that I wanted to message was to try and reassure the families that are a bit angry with him allowing to take this plea, is that I could see there was a high chance that he could get off. I don't think the defense felt everything weighed against them. There's a lot piled against him. I don't know why they couldn't pick up on these. It's a female and a black guy. Because I think there should have been something on the phones. Again, that's something else that I see. And maybe it was difficult for the defense to do this because there's 4 lives. But there was a possibility of him not getting that. But it was a high risk for the defense to take, and that's why they spoke to him. I covered this in the reading because he could have got to the firing squad. So if you just heard the dog growl, that's what it is. I'm going to go into more downloads that I got. So I might upload this portion and then do the card reading with, as opposed to keep swapping the camera around, is keep it on the cards, but I will tell you some psychic downloads as well. And if this is a case that you're interested for us to continue to cover, where we analyse stuff, let me know, because then this can be the focus. And it might mix a bit of true crime, like factual stuff, or sharing views at least. to try and see if we can get to some kind of motivation as well. By no means am I a psychiatrist or anything like that either. So take care, stay blessed. Lastly, and I don't say it enough because I don't like to bore anyone, but please do share my content. Please do share the channel. Please get the voice out. If you want to donate towards a PayPal so I can get more decks, you can do that. And you can join, obviously, members, Patreon. Members tier 1 is a gratitude, but I'm giving all early access on that. And I have been given even the extended, which is for the tier 2, access for a limited time. Most of the time it's when you've seen it for quite some time. So please, even if you just leave a comment, it helps it get in the algorithm. And if you do comment on a live and I'm not there, I always say hello if I'm on a live. Sometimes I might schedule the live and put a comment, and then I'll check again before the live goes ahead. Leave, and so I can't comment on the live if I don't attend. So let's say I schedule something for 2 hours later, but I put a comment just so that anyone who attends the live, if I can't come on while it's live, I sent you a comment saying I hope your day is going well. If you respond to anything of the content during the live actually premiering, I will be able to see your comment later, but I might not be able to reply to you. So you can just leave a little emoji, anything, and I can do a reply on the comments after it, if that makes sense. But yes, I need help with the algorithm. If you believe my content, if you like the content, it will also help me out. And I think this is a case that if you're interested in, I would like for us to focus on. And I think there's a very important message that I've said in this.